Good evening, everyone out there, and welcome to round one of the mentor tournament here from Go Mode Podcast. I am Yoko, and joining me in the booth tonight is CJ to help me commentate with this race. Good evening, CJ.
Hey, how's it going?
I'm doing well.
You excited for some Link to the Past?
Oh, definitely. Definitely. So this is round one of the mentor tournament. This is a ambrosia seed, meaning that we will start with the sword. Uncle will tell us where the boots are, and bosses will have an item. So they won't have the compass, the dungeon key, or the map. And it is a 7-7. So we got to find all 7 crystals to take down Ganon. Any item in particular you'd like to see in the big chest, in the first chest at Link's house?
Obviously, I'm always a fan of boots really early, or something that leads a little bit towards kind of a routing decision. So maybe bow, hammer, flippers, even. So just something to get you going to start off the seed.
Yeah. Our runners for this race is Laoria, and their mentor is Dr. Bob Tastic, and versus Polar Bear Bunny with their mentor Aja, and we are off. Boots and Death Mountain. So that's going to be interesting to see start off. And
Yeah,
we start.
that's a spot that you know the probably one of the scariest I think to see is Light World, because you're always thinking in the back of your mind maybe they're on the pedestal. So Death Mountain, we'll be able to find them eventually.
Right. So we're going to do we start off with Standard Escape. And Uncle gives us 20 rupees. And another 20 from the other chest. Another big 20 from the other chest.
Finding some money early on is nice because there are a couple of things that you do have to buy early on, and I see a bomb that's dropped off of the green guard, so that's a nice item to find for standard.
Right. So that way he doesn't have to go bomb hunting later on.
The red potion is also nice, just in case you get into any kind of pickle early. That's always a nice item to have in your back pocket.
Right. So always a good safety to have. So this part is pretty straightforward. Making our way down to save Zelda. And if you're ever down this way and you need a life, that pot will always have a heart in there. That's always a guarantee heart right there.
Yeah, it's definitely good to know where safety hearts are early on in standard seeds, because it doesn't take too long to accidentally get poked by a couple guards, and then you're getting a little low on life, starting with only 3 hearts.
Right. So Polar Bear Bunny a little bit in the early lead on the back part, in the front part of Escape. And Laurie taking a death down there.
Yeah, that's an unfortunate one, but not something that's completely overwhelming. You just have to run back down there and get Zelda again.
Yeah.
Now, in standard openings, you get the lamp in the back of Escape, correct?
Right. You only get the cone. We give you the cone for that. So you don't have to worry about the lamp the first time you go down there. If you go back down there later on in the game outside of Escape, it will be classified as a dark room. So for this part of the game, we give you that cone to help you out. So you don't have to worry about doing a dark room this early on in the game. And it looks like sprite-wise, as Polar Bear making their way through the back part, we've got Laoria using Zelda, and I'm not sure what sprite Polar Bear is using.
I'm not sure either, but I can find out.
Yeah. And just the key in the Dark Cross room as we make our way into the sewer part.
It looks like that is the Celeste sprite.
Okay. And the rat all the way to the left will always have that key. And this is why we need the bombs to come in to check the 3 chests in the back part of Escape. We find the Moon Pearl, our Titan's Glove, and Bombos.
Well, that is a great haul back there in the bombable area. Items that more often than not are useful as the run continues.
Right. And that does give us some Dark World access too. So we do have limited room into the dark. We can go into the Dark World to start off. And there's the arrows.
Yeah, that is a really nice find early on. So you have the possibility of doing Eastern if you're comfortable with dark rooms, and it is a crystal, so that might be a higher priority than normal.
And Hera is the green pendant. And I think and Polar Bear going the other way, skipping the lumberjack hut. Piece of heart where the mushroom would be. And another big 20 rupees. So standard play when coming out of Escape is going to check the lumberjack hut and then making your way over to the Lost Woods. We have a tree pole, and that was a bunch of hearts. So, and then we're going to route down. Polar Bear looks like he's going to route down into Kakariko Village.
Sometimes with these ambrosia seeds, knowing the boots are on Death Mountain, especially as we find the lamp there, you may go up to Death Mountain a little bit earlier than you would normally just to check to see if you can find those boots early on.
Right. And Polar Bear picking up the lamp and the blue boomerang. So that is a nice find there. And we'll get to see what's on the ledge in the lumber cave. That's a bottle. So that kind of puts Aga out of play. What? Piece of heart. Another piece of heart. A big 20. Bottle vendor, just some more bombs. So this is just normal as we make our way through Kakariko Village. We're going to check out the chicken house, make our way to the tavern, sick kid, get all the checks that we can from here. And there's the blue tunic.
That's definitely a nice safety item to find early on. That blue mail reduces a lot of damage by half. Not all of them, but a good amount of them.
It's a kid giving us his allowance, 20 rupees. I know we find that too really helps out a lot. So we're going to check out the race game. And just a piece of heart. Really nothing important there at the race game.
And it looks like Polar Bear is choosing to go south rather than go over to Eastern with the bow and the lamp.
And we are getting the South Shore check, it looks like. So we're going to start off with the swamp. 2 items here, one in the chest and one when we drain the lake out. Just 5 rupees at the bottom of the 5 rupees. And 10 arrows inside the chest there.
And when you're walking around in this south area, it's kind of dangerous because those crabs hurt a lot.
They do
very early on.
They do 2 hearts of damage.
Luckily, the runners have blue mail, so I think that's reduced to 1. But still, that's a lot of damage for an early enemy.
Yeah. They also have the boomerang, so they could also utilize using the boomerang to stun the enemies as well. Ice Rod in the mini Mordorm cave. And there's our Titan's mitts. So we found we have the Titan's mitts now. So Dark World has kind of opened up for us now. polar bear making their way over to check the ice rod cave. Pretty much a normal standard opening over on polar bear's side. Meanwhile, Laoria making their way up Death Mountain. 20 rupees inside Ice Palace. So let's see what we get from the old man.
And the uncle hint at the beginning did say the boots were on Death Mountain, so maybe they'll be early, or maybe they're a little bit further locked away.
Right. Well, let's see. 20, big 20 from returning grandpa, as I like to nickname him. So polar bear going over to Eastern. We do have the bow, so we can complete it. Heart on top of spectacle rot, and bombs inside the cave. Oh, there's the hook shot in the back of Sahashla's hut.
Yeah, the hook shot is a really nice item to find. Not only does it get you some extra checks on Death Mountain, but you can hook shot onto things and move a little bit faster in the overworld until you find boots with that.
And it's also good and it also stuns enemies as well too. It'll stun some and it will kill others as well. So it's also a very useful item. And all right, find the map.
Yeah, in Ambrosia, you're looking for 2 items in the big key before the vanilla big key chest, because then you don't have to do that whole walk around.
Right, and then it saves you from also double dipping to go back in. If it's a later on. Piece of heart. Well, full heart container, sorry. Now in this room, the trick is pick that pot up and walk towards the center. And that way you only have to fight 3 of them and not fight all 4 normally.
And also interesting that you can hit the skeletons before their sprite actually appear on screen. If you throw the pot that you're carrying over, it does end up killing one of those skeletons without ever showing up.
One of 2 of the 3 dark rooms that we will experience in Eastern.
And Laoria having a very good skeleton room as well, only having 2 spawn. That was really good.
Right. So we're going to damage boost to make that chest appear. There's our big key. And now the all-important question. What's inside the big chest? Just 50 rupees. Carrying the Cyclops on the right, that will always have the key. Nice avoidance of the anti-fairies there. Miss. And got it. Restocking up on arrows and going to fight the first boss. The Almost Knights. Not opting to do the normal fast kill strategy on them. On Polar Bear's side. But in return, we get the blue cane. So Laoria is setting up for the quick kill. And also picking up their blue cane.
And Polar Bear Bunny going to the Dark World, I would imagine. Or maybe Death Mountain with the hookshot. Those are both viable options.
Right. Probably go right side death and then come back down through Paradox Cave maybe to check out Super Bunny Cave.
Yeah, because with the Titan's mitts, that would make sense. They can check all of the Light World and Dark World checks on the mountain over there.
Also Hookshot Cave too. Oh, but one of the most annoying enemies up there on Death Mountain, the dead rocks. So Laoria going through, starting off with Paradox Cave. A lot of items in here, so it's an item dense item area.
Yeah, 7 items in Paradox Cave, 1 item in Spiral, and then another 6 in Dark Death Mountain.
Right. So just a piece of heart in in those chests there. Having a little trouble with the last mini Moldorm. There's the boots. Boots are in Paradox Cave. And we get the hammer. And the red boomerang. Setting up for a bomb jump. And pulls it off nice. So we're getting our spiral cave check. Now the good thing about it is Hera and Desert are both pendants, but they both have 2 items each in there. So Laoria going back up.
With the hammer, check out Turtle Rock maybe, or do Tower of Hera.
Probably heading over to Hera, looks like. You could have also set up the wall point over at they could have also set up the Turtle Rock wall point as well too. So 2 items here in Hera. And we got Polar Bear checking out the Dark World. That's the other side. There we go. Now Laoria is setting up for the Hera pot glitch. Now what this does is, if we line that up just right, the bomb will push us into the pot there. If we line it up just right with using the hook shot, and it'll drop us down into this fairy room, but when we come out, we'll already be way up at the top, close to drop down and check out the big chest and pick up the compass. We have a Dark World check, so Turtle Rock is our other pendant dungeon. So we don't have to worry about going in the TR tonight. I wonder how our runners are going to feel about that. We're getting a Quake in Hookshot Cave with the flute. Now that definitely opens up a lot more having the flute.
Yeah, having the flute, that's a required item for Misery Mire for both runners. Bunny finding it early will kind of take that off your mind of an item you have to go look for later on.
Right. And Ether is required to get into Turtle Rock. We're getting a King's Tomb check. Meanwhile, Laoria's still working on the Trolldorm fight.
Yeah, Moldorm is not being nice today.
Nope.
Looks like we're going to get a Bonk Rocks check from Bunny.
And we have 5 rupees.
Somebody put in a lot of effort to put $5 under there.
Right.
That was a very nice room for just $5.
Be the sick kid's secret stash. We get the mushroom for. So Laoria picking up the mushroom. So we're going on a we have a fetch quest item now.
Well, and that's a nice item as well because she can use fake powder if she gets the Cane of Samaria. Um, she may not need the actual powder to do the magic bat. There's a glitch you can do to skip that or get it early.
It's you gotta, if I remember the glitch correctly, you gotta use up all your magic with the with the powder, and then or with the cane, and then it's like you gotta switch over to use the mushroom, I think.
Yep, with no magic, you use the red cane facing the area where you would normally summon the bat. You press start, switch over to the mushroom, and you have to hit, the Y button again or the activate button again on the mushroom. But then it'll trick the game because they're both the mushroom and the powder both occupy that same slot in the menu, from what I understand.
Right. And at 29 minutes, the goose is loose.
I've never heard that before, but I like that. I'm gonna start using that when I run more seeds. That's a good catchphrase there.
We also call it, we've also nicknamed it the Hyrule National Anthem. And just the big key down there in the dungeon, Polar Bear making their way over to Hype Cave. It's nicknamed because we always see a lot of good items most of the time back here. 5 items. It's an okay Hype Cave tonight.
Yeah, not very exciting. With some bombs and some money and some health, but most of the time, I agree. I think most of the time, Hype Cave has something pretty good in it.
Right. Laoria setting up again for the Parapot. Meanwhile, Polar Bear going back over to the Dark World and making their way over to Pod. The Herapod is, I'm gonna say, it's one of those, if you can pull it off, it works great, but trying to get it to pull off, you gotta be in a certain pixel location when doing that.
Yeah, there's both latitude and longitude pixel you have to be on to place with the bomb, and then you have to move to another pixel that's really precise. So it's definitely a trick that takes a lot of practice, not one that's easy to learn.
Yep. I think another one that's hard, if probably see it later on when we get to Ice Palace, is the icebreaker glitch. Normal so far for Pod. We see the, oh, we have a piece of, and we have a full heart container in the big chest. And what I mean by that is Pod is normally nicknamed, we have the keys up front with everything else normally in the back.
Yeah, I don't know the logic exactly, but I think it's either 3 or 4 small keys have to be in the front of pod, which
Right.
really can backload the dungeon.
Right. Otherwise we will soft lock this. And that's not going to be quite messy.
Luckily, the brilliant minds behind creating the randomizer and generating the logic for it have thought about all of the really silly ways you could route dungeons, and they made sure that there's no way to lock yourself in a dungeon with the way the items are placed.
Right. Well, there's the map. And Laoria going to trade in the mushroom, so we'll see what that nets us. And I don't even know what these enemies are called. I find these enemies to be very annoying. For that simple reason. And we get the book.
Ooh, that could be very important because Mushroom was on Moldorm, if I'm remembering correctly.
Yep, Mushroom was on Mordorm, and that led to the book. Takes a spill off of the disintegrating bridge.
Luckily, Bunny still has that red potion from early on, so she'll heal right back up and move forward.
Right. We find a key in the turtle room. Turtle room 1. Another key.
Oh, that was really convenient for Laoria. She went into Hype Cave with only 1 bomb, but the little guy there gave her 3 more bombs to do the back of the Hype Cave.
Right. Now, we're going to head over to the Dark Maze. Level 2 sword, we found our master sword. And we're getting a pyramid check. And the flippers. Oh, that's definitely a nice find right there, the flippers. And there's another sword right there on Pyramid Ledge. So that's going to be Polar Bear's. So we know the location of 2 of the swords.
Yeah, and definitely Laoria will find that sword in Pod. It'll be interesting to see if Bunny will skip Pyramid or how long Pyramid gets put off for. You know, if other items start to show up with those flippers, you can now, and Titan's Mitts, you can do Ice Palace with Bombos. You can do a couple of other checks with the flute and the Titan's Mitts. You can check out some of the Mire area. So
Right.
a lot of other areas to check.
Also forgetting about the Zora Ledge. So we can also check out Zora and the Waterfall of Wishing, which grants us 2 items at the waterfall. Zora will probably have something for us, and the ledge as well could always have an item for us as well. So it opens up the Zora area. Otherwise, we'd have to do a glitch known as Fake Flipper since we have the Moon Pearl. And what that entitles us to do for Fake Flipper, we got to jump in the water and have the screen transition as we're in the water. So the game will trick it to think that we have the flippers. The thing is with that, you got to be a little careful with having the fake flippers, because if at any time you take a point of damage, it's an automatic game. It's an automatic death with that. But also great to know how to do when you get the Moon Pearl, because that opens up a lot more knowing that sequence break right there.
Yeah, there are a lot of nice sequence breaks for getting around places that are locked by water. Not really as much in a dungeon like Swamp Palace, but
Right.
there's fake flipper, there's water walking, there's splash deletion. There's a ton of different ways that various people have found to kind of glitch the game a little bit. It's a minor glitch
Right.
to get into the water.
Especially coming into pod, if you don't have the bow, you can do the bottle glitch, which will actually requires you having a bottle with any type of health goo in it, and manipulating the camera into a way to get the mimics off screen.
Yep, there's a tricky way to do it with a fairy. You can't do it with a bee, but you can also do it with a fairy, but that requires a bit more of a specific setup. But yeah, tons of minor glitches that help. Harapot, which we saw earlier, is included in that.
Right. I'd also say knowing how to do the Ice Palace bomb jump helps out a lot too. And that's one of the more difficult bomb jumps to pull off. But down goes Hemasaur, and for our work, just another 20 rupees. So with Laoria, gotta be careful down on one heart. Remember, she has that. This is the red potion. Nice.
Yeah, we're seeing in action here why having a bottle early is nice. Having those safeties, just because you never know in any dungeon or anywhere in the game where you might kind of be in a pinch, and being able to refill your health is always a nice comfort to have.
And also either that or knowing where the fairies are in the dungeon as well. That's also not a lot. Excuse me there. Polar Bear going over to the Mire area, so we're going to get to see what the Mire has for us, and Mire is ether as well. So we're looking for that ether medallion. Another bottle in the Mire shed with the shovel.
And Laoria, we're seeing her attempt to do hammer yump, but the falling tile was a little bit too quick.
Yeah, that's another tricky. That's a very tricky one to pull off, the hammer yump.
Yeah, of all of the minor glitches that I have been able to perform successfully, that is definitely high up there in terms of difficulty. Like, you have to have not only pixel perfect kind of setup, but it's also on a timer because the floor is disappearing beneath you.
Right. I have in practice actually managed to pull off doing the icebreaker glitch in Ice Palace. 10 hours at the dig spot. And we're off to back to Kakariko Village. I'm gonna go use the warp point to go back to the Dark World.
Yeah, there's quite a few checks in the Dark World here, so plenty of options and plenty of different ways you can go to check items out.
Right. And we're gonna start off with doing a check into Skull Woods.
And now, Skull Woods is another dungeon that only has 2 items, and since there's a guaranteed item on the boss, only 1 item in all of these chests here.
Right. But since we don't have the fire rod, we can't get to Mothula just yet. So all we can do is just check the chests for right now. I'm not sure, does the lamp... I never tried it with the lamp. Does the lamp allow us access to the back?
No, you have to have the fire
We
rod
have
for
to have the
Skull
fire
Woods.
rod. Yep. One of those things I always think of, it could be both, it could be one or the other. Now this room here, the bumper room, will always, that chest will always...
You're gonna see Bunny try to set up a bomb jump over this gap here to get to the big chest.
So doing it the long way. And we get the map.
Unfortunately, I think that means both items for Skull Woods are fire rod locked.
Right.
Oh, never mind. There's one more check. I forgot. You can check this too.
This is what I will admit, this is one of those dungeons where I get turned around a lot.
And looking in the chat, we do, that is correct. Version 31, that chest doesn't have to have a key in it. I just believe one of the 3 chests will have a small key in that kind of back route. But I think that is correct. That is a version 31 that's no longer guaranteed to be a key. So that is actually a room where if you fall down that pit, you could get stuck there and have to save and quit.
Okay, so I'm always used to seeing a key there. That's... thank you, chat. You know. And there's our mirror.
Well,
So
I would say that is worth the time put into this dungeon because that unlocks a lot of things.
Yeah. And that gives us travel between both worlds. So we're not mainly relying now on saving and quit. So you're gonna see a lot of mirroring between worlds. With so many updates, it's hard to, when they update the randomizer, it's always so much to keep track of, like what they change and everything.
Yeah. Luckily, we have chat here who will always help us out.
Right.
And looking at Bunny's items, I think, and I could be wrong on this, but I think we're just Fire Rod and Cane of Samaria. Well, oh, and Ether. Okay, so we still got a few items.
We need Ether. We're on the hunt for Ether and Fire Rod. But she also needs the... Ether and Fire Rod.
And then Cane of Samaria for Misery Mire.
Right.
And that's kind of it. That's actually not that many items.
Yeah, we are like 3 items away from being in go mode for Polar Bear.
But luckily, she has a lot of dungeons and overworld checks that she can do. By having all of these items,
it opens up a lot of it.
Yeah, and pretty good to route everything kind of together. You're not going to have to double back for very many checks.
Right. So, Thieves Town, 4 chests up front. 1 will always have the big key. The other 3 will have some item. Yeah, even if this was a pendant dungeon, the runners would still probably come in here just to check the first 4 chests.
Oh yeah, almost always.
Yeah. It's an easy, quick check. If you don't find what you need, just leave the dungeon.
While we're waiting for Bunny to get to some more checks and Laoria is doing maybe Ice Palace, do you want to talk a little bit about the mentor tournament?
Not. I'll leave that to you.
All right. The mentor tournament is kind of a cool thing that's going on through the Go Mode podcast. Each of the racers is somebody who signed up to get in or participate in this tournament, and they got paired with a mentor, somebody who signed up saying they're willing to, teach the racers and give them some tips and help them go through the routing. And Nightbot has it too. There's a command in chat. But basically, the racers and their mentor are chatting and kind of going through the seed together. And it's just a cool kind of community thing that's going on. A lot of fun.
Well, there's Arcane. There's Arcane of Samaria. And this is also very good, like if you're new to starting out with randomizer as well. And and Ambrosia is a good place to start now as well for if you're just learning how to do standard randomizer. Wish they had this when I started.
Yeah, having the sword guaranteed at the beginning with Ambrosia is really kind to newer runners who are looking to pick up the game and kind of aren't comfortable doing, games swordless for an hour before they finally find a fighter sword. So very, very forgiving mode.
Right. Or having to start off with Uncle giving you bombs.
Yeah, that's still, I think, haunts my nightmares sometimes.
Yeah, I agree. Same here. And a lot of the mentors that our runners are teamed up with have a lot of experience running in tournaments. Everything like I know Dr. Bob Tastic is a regular when it comes to tournaments and the daily races when they go off as well.
Yeah, so if you are interested, it's been posted in the chat, but there's a Discord. You can join the Discord and kind of hang out and ask questions. It's a bunch of people just, wanting to help new players kind of find their way in the game and just help them, practice and get better.
Okay. And we're very friendly. We welcome new people to the community as well. And please, if you do like what you see here, please follow the runners, follow the mentors. We have to give a shout out to our tracker as well, who's doing all the tracking for you guys behind the scenes and keeping us honest as well with chat as well. And that is Bam Mushi is our tracker. So please give our runners, give the mentors a follow. They put in a lot of hard work just for good show for us to see as well. So we're getting our first check at Zora, and we get a life lesson.
Just throw away 200 rupees.
Polar
Honestly,
bear
that's a better deal than most of the time, Zora, to be fair.
I agree. The seed I did the other day, that 500 rupees got me like $5 back.
I always, my favorite is I remember getting a single arrow one time.
And the item from the dig game is bombs. The way we can tell that it's the item given to us from the digging game, it will not have that shine. That if it's money, it will not sparkle, and you'll hear the Zelda chime as well. comes to that. So you're always guaranteed the item at the dig gate. You don't have to save and reload every time. You're always guaranteed an item. The number of digs will be different every time on that.
And as you can see with Bunny, as she goes through kind of the South Dark World area, actually going to flute here, but able to check Cave 45 there and all the other checks along the way because of that mirror, and being able to flute as well. Very nice to have.
And the other thing is, if one of our other items happens to be on the pyramid at Pyramid Fairy, having 1/2 of the 5-6 crystals down.
And unfortunately, she doesn't know it yet, but Bunny is going to also lose $200.
Right. The thing is, while we're doing all that, Bunny did manage. Laoria did manage to pick up her butter sword.
And that mirror in Skull Woods is a required item for sure, because Swamp Palace is one of the required dungeons. Right. So eventually Laoria will have to go over to that Skull Woods area. Perhaps we'll find the Fire Rod before then.
Right.
Well, we would have to hit at some point before the back to Skull Woods, but
it's either going to be, I'm going to say it's probably either going to be in Swamp Palace or at worst Mire.
I'm going to play devil's advocate and say it's on Catfish.
Ooh. I've seen stranger things happen with that as well too. Bunny going to Ice Palace. Now you can use now Bombos does work here as well, so you really don't need to have the Fire Rod to come in here. You can also use Bombos. Bombos helps out a lot in this dungeon.
Yeah, you can use Bombos to kill all of the enemies that the Fire Rod would normally kill. However, at this point, since we know where the other swords are, looking like the boss will be done with the Master Sword, which can present its difficulties, so excited to see that.
Right. Using Quake for the penguin room.
And it missed one.
Yeah. I don't know, like when I'm running in Ice Palace, I always have Bombos on, and I just Bombos everything.
What do you think was going through that penguin's mind? Like, all the other penguins, Pengators just disappeared, and somehow he was like...
It was like, I'm just gonna jump here so it just doesn't affect me. Now we are gonna get a look here at the Icebreaker glitch. And this requires you to stand on a specific pixel. You release the sword, and if all goes right, if you pull this off correctly, it'll push you into the wall. And Polar Bear pulls it off, gets the piece of heart. So it cuts out a lot of the dungeon. So we basically... Go ahead.
And it lets you skip that Ice Palace bomb jump that we were talking about earlier, which is one of the more difficult bomb jumps in the randomizer.
Right. There wasn't. As I said, they are waiting for the. I don't even know what you call those things, like those light things that transform you.
The anti-fairies, I believe.
Okay. So
At least that's what I've always called them.
right. Nice dodging there, the floor trap. Taking a little bit of damage with the fire bar there.
Yeah, movement in Ice Palace is difficult because ice physics, when you're walking on it, is a little bit tricky. You can use the boots and sword slashes to your advantage, and there are some clips and things like that you can do, but unfortunately, oh, you know what? I'm just reading chat. They are bunny beans. That is correct. Anti-fairies are the red ones.
Right. Okay.
Again, chat has our back.
Thank you, chat. Yeah, I've been commentating for these races for years now, and even I still don't remember like all the names of the enemies and everything. Yeah, I ice physics tend to get me upset a little bit too. But we find the big key in Ice Palace.
And that's a good find because Bunny did not hit the switch in the upstairs area, I don't believe. So she needed that big key to get to the boss.
And also using the hook shot on ice helps out a lot too.
So now we have Laoria running over to potentially Ice Palace as well.
I think so, yeah. Okay, skipping the big chest. Yep, and Laoria also coming into Ice Palace as well.
Also with the Cane of Samaria, so probably going to attempt that Icebreaker glitch.
Perfect placement of the block there. So we know Cold Stare is going to have one of the items.
I know we saw a heart. I don't remember what the third item here was.
I think that was the only one we saw so far. Because everything else was just keys. Having a little bit of trouble with Cold Stare. It looks like spin slashes work for this one here. You also got to be careful of the falling ice as well. That is...
Yeah, fun little strategy for newer players. It takes a while longer, but if you are in the Cold Stare room, if you hug the top wall and move back and forth, the ice won't split into four. It'll just hit the wall and turn into like a dust. And when I was first learning this game, basically that's the only way I would ever do this dungeon, even with Butter Sword, because I was so scared of this boss.
Now you know the strategy for the quick kill for this one, right?
With the Butter Sword or with Fire Rod?
Fire Rod and either level 3 or level 4 sword. What you do is you want to use the Fire Rod get rid of the ice, and then you go behind that until you hear the ice drop. Charge your sword up, and then you want to swing it, which puts him over towards the right side, and then you poke him a little bit, and he goes into that top right corner there. And then a spin slash later, and down he goes.
So Laoria finding both items and hitting the switch, so Laoria can go straight to the boss. And with Butter Sword, this is going to be a much friendlier fight. Though props to Bunny for doing it Master Sword.
What was that other item?
I did not see, but it must have been in the first Pengator room.
Right.
No, I have died to Master Sword Cold Stare more than I would like to admit, so big props to Bunny for pulling that off.
Definitely. Now, also, we're getting a check of probably the second long dungeon in the game, and that is Swamp Palace.
Now in Swamp, there's some new little glitches with the Cane of Samaria as well that we might get to see.
There's Over Down. That's the new one in Swamp. That one still eludes me. I'm still learning that one.
Yeah, that's a difficult glitch. You can set it up with bombs too, but that is significantly more difficult than with the Cane of Samaria. Cane of Samaria is a little bit more difficult. We'll very likely see it, and we'll talk about it when it comes up here. Meanwhile, Laoria going to maybe check Bombos Medallion?
Maybe. Are we starting to go through?
Oh no, Big Bomb. We're gonna see what is hidden behind the wall.
Right. Don't have it marked off on her tracker. But she did defeat Thieves Town. We did see her take down Blind. And we have Piece of Heart and a Full Heart. So a little bit of love back there.
Yeah, Laoria still has not done Dark Death Mountain, so that is where the flute was, and the mirror was in Skull Woods. So those are two items that Laoria will need to finish the seed.
Polar Bear not opting to do the so far for the diver down in this room here. Hopefully we get to see it though. It's a great little glitch. It saves a lot. It saves like a few seconds of time.
I think if done optimally, it can save like 30 seconds, maybe 40. I don't know the exact time on it, but I know it's a decent time save.
Yeah. Bombs on catfish. I mean, for the newer people, I know we're talking a little bit of advanced techniques here.
you can see on Laoria's screen there, her running really, really fast. If you hit the hook shot and the boots at the same time while you're climbing upstairs, it'll activate a super speed, which will let you run at boot speed kind of around freely.
Oh, wow.
You can also do it with a sword slash and boots, but that's a little bit trickier to set up.
But we're getting a spike cave check here. And a left side swamp palace check. So what does spike cave hold for us? Piece of heart.
You do, however, have to be careful. If you have that super speed, like what just happened on Laoria's screen, and you touch an edge, it'll be just like if you go up to an edge and press the B button, or the A button, one of the buttons. I forget which one it is originally. But if you are in super speed, you can jump off a ledge just by walking near it.
And gets the dead rock caught right in the middle of trying to go up the door there. 50 rupees. There's our ether. So we are just a fire rod away on Bunny's side from being in go mode. Get a tablet check. And we get a level 2 shield. Polar Bear taking on Argus with the Master Sword.
Talked about it a little bit earlier, but it'll be interesting to see if Bunny goes to one of the locations, Pyramid, or I'm not sure where Butter Sword or the fourth sword we saw was, but to get those upgrades, because you can defeat Ganon with a Master Sword, though it is much more difficult.
It takes a lot of spin slashes. Red mail. We get the red mail for taking down Argus. That boosts defense a lot. Finding that. Bunny going to pick up a safety. Blue goo. And where are we going? We're going to Meyer.
Yep, and Laoria just found her flute in Hookshot Cave, so probably following right behind is what I was trying to say.
So we're getting a desert ledge check. We get the cape. And we're getting a desert palace check too. Key on top of the torch. And I think I'd want to be careful about touching that key after it's been on top of that torch. And a little bit blocked by the green cyclops. We get the map. And there's our powder.
That is another fetch quest. So, will this one also be, an item like Mushroom was the book? Maybe that's where Fire Rod could be hiding.
Right. But we are getting a checkerboard cave check. No. Bunny picking up the full heart container. So, Bunny only needing 2 dungeons to complete. 1 item away from go mode. And we're looking for the red cane. I mean, the fire rod, sorry. Multiple ways to get in that ice palace as well. I mean, into desert palace. You don't have the book, you can always backdoor into it with the mirror from Meyer. Are looking for, well, we do have the red cane, so this is completable. It's just the fire rod is eluding us right now.
Yep, and because Fire Rod is our last item, we do know that, unfortunately, the pedestal is not going to have that this seed because you need the Fire Rod to beat Turtle Rock. So that is one place where the Fire Rod cannot be.
So unfortunately, the pedestal is dead. And there it is. It's in Meyer. So at 1 hour, 16 minutes, Bunny is in go mode.
And a scary go mode for sure. I've hit go mode with no silvers and Master Sword before, and it's luckily they have 2 potions. Both of our runners do, and that'll be nice for the Ganon fight. But doing Master Sword Silverless Ganon, if there's no silvers that cross Bunny's path along the way, that's going to be quite a fight.
Right. But we do have experienced mentors with them, so they probably will be getting some tips on Silverless Ganon.
And I mean, that is definitely going to help. I wish somebody would have helped me with any of my Ganon fights, even with Buttersword. I wish I still had somebody who would help me with Ganon.
Right. That or knowing about the practice ROM. that we have.
Yeah, that's a great tool
Yeah.
for a lot of new runners as well.
Yeah. It lets you set up any, you can go to any, how that works is it lets you, it's up for any room that you want to go to. You can practice for any glitch, learning them. If you want to learn how to do a quick boss fight, great for setting that up as well.
Oh, I just didn't notice until just now. The logic of this seed does have you going into Skull Woods to get the mirror, to go to Swamp Palace to get Ether, to get to Mire to get the Fire Rod to finish Skull Woods. So it is required to double dip Skull Woods.
Yeah.
And looking over at the chat, they were onto that way before me. Again,
They're no more. Yeah, they're no more. Chat is normally always like that. They have these things figured out way before we up here in the commentators booth, as knowing about it. It's like one of those weird puzzles. It's like you gotta do A to get to B, and then B to go to C, and then C back to A. And we are seeing the Cape Strat here on Victorious.
Yep, by spamming the sword while your cape is active, it drains the magic much slower than it would normally.
Right. There's also the dashing glitch as well. But Polar's still on the Master Sword. And if we don't find the silvers by the time we get to the third phase, by the time we get to the last phase of the Ganon fight, Ganon will always tell us where those silvers were hidden. So that's always the good thing. That's always the... You didn't check here for the silvers.
Yes, we know
ahead.
one sword is on Pyramid. Laoria found another one, I'm assuming in the Dark Village area somewhere, but I didn't see exactly where that fourth sword was.
And we know all three locations. We know the locations of all three. It's on Pyramid. One's, I believe, somewhere was in... I should have...
One was in Pod, and one was on Pyramid. And then the third one, I believe, was in the... again, I don't remember exactly where, but I remember seeing early on Laoria having her butter sword in Dark Village. So I think it's somewhere in that area.
Right. So otherwise, Bunny going right to the back side of the woods. And Laoria checking out the hammer pegs. Ooh. Takes a net. And these two rooms are just a pain to get through because of all the enemies that are there. Anyway, now for Mothula fight. And then Gary's chest gives us the half magic. We're also got to be a little bit careful here with those spikes. So if Mothula ends up over those spikes, it will negate damage for that. But down goes Mothula. We have 10 crystals. We have 7 crystals. We have 10 arrows. It's time to go to Ganon's tower. With that, we have 22.
Yeah, 22 chests in Ganon's tower where the big key could be. So go ahead and get your guesses into the chat now.
Yep. So, I have to ask you this as well. So, out of those 22 locations, where do you think the big key is going to be?
I'm going to go with 8.
8. I'll go with my standard, number 9. Now, they are going to need the big key plus 1 small key, and we get those in because we do have this is a tournament, so we do have the bot for all of you got for everyone there in chat. You gotta be careful down to 1 heart. Now we will be going off of Bunny's chest pulls. And that is it. No more guesses. Good luck to all of you. Start off going right side. Chest 1, 50 rupees. Chest 2, all key. Laoria after using a fairy. The torch. Having a key. Three chests back here. We have bombs. There's the big key. That's I believe that's chest 6.
I believe that's 6 as well. And
Yep.
Laoria did just grab her mirror, so she is going to probably clear out swamp right now.
And then as we come into this room here, there are a couple different ways of dealing with these mimics. You can grab the wall and manipulate him by holding A. And just having the BMO statues in this room is like really, really nasty.
I would say in this game, that Mimic 2 room is probably within my top 5 least favorite rooms.
I agree. No, I will agree. I'll put that in my top. I put that as my top room. But I've you know, experimenting with different tricks on how to complete that room as well. Now this is Bunny taking the jump over to pick up the fairies.
Yeah, that's a nice room to know about. If you didn't know about that room before, if you have the boots, you can bomb that wall open, and there's always 2 fairies and a full magic in that room.
This little safety room going up Ganon's tower. Nice shot with the using the arrows on those. Trying to kill these two on ice really makes ice physics really make that thing that difficult.
For Bunny, that was a very impressive gauntlet.
Yes.
Very well done. As Laoria is in Swamp Palace, so we'll find Ether relatively soon.
On the land mall fight, managed to take down one of the 3 land malls with fire. That's always impressive. You know, if you're able to use the fire rod, fire does a lot more damage. A lot of damage on those as well.
It looks like we might be seeing Diver Down from Laoria. She did switch to bombs here.
Yeah. As Polar Bunny making their way through the Dark Magician room. We got 2 of those, so the way the strategy worked is you lay down the block with the cane of Samaria and you just fire with it. And getting the diver down glitch to work. Bunny needing to use up a potion. Now, thing is, you want to wait here in that room till you hear the chime. Otherwise, you do have the tendency to despawn the rest of the tower.
Luckily for me, I'm not fast enough to have ever done that.
I have yet to see it happen. But I get warned about that all the time now in my with that. It's like
Now, there is a possibility here if Bunny decides to check Pyramid after Ganon's Tower just to look for a sword or silvers. She will be greatly rewarded, as that Tempered Sword is on Pyramid ledge there.
But and it'll take a couple less spin moves to knock out Ganon. Having a little trouble with the Moldorm 2 fight. Down goes Moldorm 2.
And you're seeing Laoria do another diver down really well, grabbing Ether. So good job over there.
I still have trouble with that.
Yeah, it's a difficult glitch to do. You have to place the Cane of Samaria at a certain level, and then you have to jump in the water and then press down and right in a specific order, and it's very tricky to get if you don't practice it. So a lot of practice has gone into knowing that one.
And Polar Bunny setting a nice fight with starting her fight with Aga 2. It's a double. This is that time. I think that was a double that Bunny got off. And down goes Aga 2. The question is Bunny going to move on to fight Ganon with the Master Sword?
Well, and Bunny also did not do Purple Chest, so she does not have half magic, which also increases the difficulty of the fight.
Right. We'll see what she does. Nope, skipping the Ganon fight. I think we're going to get a pyramid check now on her end. Greatly rewarded by finding the level 3 sword, her Bacon Sword. And gonna go right back up. So we'll see how she does Silverless Ganon. And Ganon always has some strange fact.
And each phase of Ganon will take 12 hits, except for phase 3, which only takes 3 hits. With the Butter Sword, the first 2 phases are knocked down to 6 hits, but with silver or without silvers, that phase 4 is always going to take 12 hits to finish.
Right, and a lot with the Master Sword.
I think the Master Sword is
24?
20. Yeah, I think it's 24 for that last phase.
Using the cape here during phase 2. So we're now into phase 3.
Yeah, if you have a potion to use it, using the cape, phase 2 is, I think, pretty universally accepted is the hardest phase of the Ganon fight.
Oh yeah, I agree. I tried the daily, the bi-weekly race that they posted, and that's twice as hard to do on Blue Mail. And I missed what Ganon told us where the arrows were.
Unfortunately, not getting the torch glitch for Bunny, which means have to be very careful with the magic as you try to slash Ganon.
Gotta be careful here with that as well, because
And Laoria did find her fire rod in Misery Mire, so Laoria is also in go mode.
at 1 hour, I want to say 1 hour 38 minutes puts her in go mode.
Right around there, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know about you, but I'm just sitting in silence. Magic is getting low, and only a couple hits left on Ganon. This is pretty intense.
Right. It's like edge of your seat type stuff here. And chat pointing out that the silvers were in Ganon's tower. And
Unfortunately for Bunny, runs out of magic.
Yep. So it gives Laoria a chance to catch up here. Does have a chance to catch up. And we are going to... We're starting at Death Mountain. So we get the full heart refill.
Oh, the falling rocks not being nice.
Yeah. How many times has that happened to us, right? It's like we're waiting to... But the good thing is we get a free heal just from speaking to the assistant as well. So all is not lost. We do get the free heal from the assistant. Even Chet pointing out even missing that torch glitch cost her too. That's also down to timing as well, pulling off that torch glitch.
Yeah, it's a very short window that you have to light that left torch before the right torch goes out. You don't have a very big window to do it.
Right. I forgot the timing for it too.
I just play it safe. I make sure I have a potion, and I just go over there and spam lamp on it.
Right. I'm the same way as well. What's that?
Very nice by Bunny to avoid those bats. Even with red mail, those bats will hit you for 3 hearts of damage.
Yep.
And Laoria finishing up Mothula, so Laoria will be heading up to Ganon's tower.
I always find the phase 4 of the Ganon fight to be the hardest without silvers. And I think we got it. Yep.
Oh, it almost fell off the edge. Good save
Yeah.
there.
You don't want to actually poke him because that'll freeze him. You want to do spin slashes.
Yeah, it is a very small window where you have to spin slash after he shoots the bat and is getting ready to teleport again.
But yeah.
Also, really good advice that I've learned during the Ganon fight is if the bat's going to hit you, if you don't move, the bat doesn't knock you off or has a much smaller chance of knocking you like all the way off and having you fall.
Oh, wow.
If you stand still when the bat hits you and just take the damage, you're more likely than not just going to stay perfectly still and it won't cost you a fall.
Right.
And that is Ganon.
Get your GGs in chat. As Polar Bear crosses the line first, or we gotta wait for her to. Many times have we seen that happen? Like they just go right over and don't wait for that to open up. Get your GGs in chat. Bunny finishing with the official time of 1 hour 46. Winner of this race. But
yeah, very well done by Bunny. A lot of Master Sword fights that are very difficult. Really, really impressive run.
Right. And I still feel nervous every time I have to attempt to do Ganon Silverless. It's like sends a chill down my spine.
Laoria does find the big key as well. And Laoria will have a much nicer climb up the mountain with the butter sword, or up the tower with the butter sword. It's a much friendlier weapon to have than the Master Sword.
Yep. Lot less spin cycles to. And she also found the mirror shield too.
Yeah, the mirror shield was right below the big key. Bunny opting just to mirror and go straight to Ganon when she found the big key, but Laoria did one last check and was rewarded with the lag shield.
Yeah. And we're just waiting to see if Bunny wants to give us a interview. GG's, Bunny.
Thank you.
So,
I want to ask how you felt when you found the Temper Sword on Pyramid.
It was funny because I just said I hope there's a sword on the pyramid, kind of joking, and that there actually was. It was actually really funny. I don't know, I'm not too bad at Master Sword Ganon, but obviously not having half magic or not having the torch glitch would really not go well.
He came back that second time very well to pull off Silverless Ganon. So.
Yeah, I didn't even need my potions. I don't think it was... I don't know. I don't think it was the right call to probably pull out my cape the first time. Since I read mail, I don't think I really needed it.
Yeah, that was entirely my fault. Sorry.
So, and the
Whose call?
Oh, go ahead.
Okay. Whose call was it to go to Skull Woods early, and find that mirror?
That was definitely his call. I hard disagreed, but I was wrong.
Yeah, that was a nice gamble going in there, and
Because I like to... I don't know, obviously I didn't have the fire rod at the time, but I like to just go right to the moth, especially in Ambrosia. And doing the front, especially like not even having the cane, so the big key chest is gonna take a really long time to get back to. It's not enjoyable searching all of the front of Skullwoods for that one item that might not even be there.
right.
But it definitely worked out this time. Because Astra made me do it. But I whined the whole time about doing that.
Well, very impressive. The cold stare with Master Sword fight, and the other Master Sword fights, they were, very, very well done.
Thank you.
And the silvers were somewhere in the basement in Ganon's tower. Yep.
I probably wasn't gonna get those then. Actually, a lot of times feel less comfortable with the silver cannon fight. I don't know why. It's just like, it's more complicated, like having to switch between your items.
Right.
So I don't mind not having them.
Yeah, getting the freeze hits with Master Sword can be really annoying because it takes some time to do the spin, and a lot of times by the time you charge up the spin, you're gonna get the silverless hit instead.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know, I was really nervous. I'm not... I don't know, not totally happy with how I did, but also am at the same time.
And it's a great time, 146. So.
Yeah, that is a really good time. That's a good time for me. It's nice that you didn't have to do any pendants to see it at all. You didn't have to dip any of them.
Right.
Well, I'd just like to say congratulations on the win. It was very entertaining to watch the the Master Sword fights you did them really well, and to come back the second time on Ganon and do it no problem was good to see. So congratulations on the win. Thank you.
Thank you.
And Laoria starting on phase 2 right now of the Ganon fight. And at this part of the Ganon fight, when you get to phase 4, he's just going to move. The pattern is he's always going to move up, or he's going to move down on that. So that kind of helps out where to stand with when he shoots out the Firebird as well.
Yeah, I find patience is key, especially with Silverless Ganon. It's really easy if you're rushing to get hit by the bat and get knocked off the edge. When everything goes dark, sometimes it's good just to wait until he shoots the fire bat, and then light the torches after that.
And down goes Ganon. Get your GGs in chat for Laoria. Finishes with a time of 1 hour 56.
Hello, hello, hello.
Hello.
Hi, guys. GG, Polar Bear Bunny.
GG, Laoria.
Thank you, GG.
I'm assuming that our opponent might have gone to Skull Woods before us.
And Dr. Bob, you were correct on that.
Yeah, if it was my choice, I wouldn't have, but it turned out to be a really, really good play, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, we were like, I mean, Skull Woods is one item without the fire rod. No, and we literally lacked location of the mirror. It was great.
Oh,
Yeah.
no.
Just leave it. Who needs it?
Yeah, you didn't need that.
Right.
No, but I hope you guys also enjoyed my escape death
Yeah.
Oh, no.
and my attempt to throw the bird, but it didn't happen.
Well, the The throwing of the bird at Meyer.
Yeah, he was stuck in the little growth there, and I couldn't grab it.
Yeah, I'd say a bit unfortunate. I don't necessarily think it's the wrong move to skip Skull Woods. You know, sometimes randomizer is just gonna do its thing and put the one item you need in the worst possible place.
It just acted like it was version 26, and we needed to go to Skull Woods. That's just kind of how it goes sometimes.
I just think the like even without Fire Rod, once you get into a village, the up down of starting at Skull Woods and going down, cleaning up the game and stuff after Thieves Town, I think that just works out really well, and it is less good in Ambrosia, but I think it's still too ingrained in the meta to not do it. Like, it's riskier than it's a riskier skip to skip the front of Skull Woods than it is other things, because it's not as bad as some of the other bad things, and it's also thing that a larger percentage of your opponents are going to do, rather like a larger percentage of your opponents are going to check it. So it's really dangerous to leave something there.
So when did you guys go to Eastern?
We went right away, right after Mini Moldworm.
See, we didn't even go to South Shore first. Like, we went after CAC.
Yeah, I did South Shore first.
When you say after CAC, do you mean like after Village, or like
after Kakariko Village?
Yeah.
Not Dark World though.
Yeah.
Like, we went Kakariko
we
Village
wouldn't
and
have
then
gotten
up the mountain.
Oh, up the mountain. Oh, so where?
You couldn't get anything, could you?
Well,
So
we
we-
didn't know that. We were hoping we could find the boots from Old Man or inside Spectacle Rock. So we went up, and then after that, we were like, all right, let's go Saha and Eastern.
Okay. I generally don't like
Bugman on
going.
the pedestal. Hi.
I generally don't like going right to mountain when.
So yeah, I don't
There's,
enjoy that either, except when it tells me the boots are on Death Mountain. You know what I mean?
I know, but they're probably on east side. Like, still, I don't know. The boots hint kind of. It really wreaks havoc with routing sometimes and like waiting things, you know.
So the thing that went through my mind, and this is probably wrong in the big scheme of things, but I'm like, you can check those two items. If it's the boots, then getting through Eastern and all that and all this other stuff is just that much faster. And if it's not, all you did was you checked Spectacle Rock Cave, and then you can have that save and quit point to get back there. So it's like just a little bit of time out of the way. But yeah, I definitely appreciate the fact that it could, definitely go, not necessarily the best play, but sometimes you got to make the weird plays.
Right.
Well, and in randomizer, you do have to take some gambles, and if the boots were there, that would have been a really good, early item to find.
I think it's defensible either way. Like, it's fairly free. Like, you hope that Flute doesn't show up right away, because Flute lets you get there a minute faster. But boots are there, then it's like, as long as Flute doesn't show up, it is a free check to go there and do the spec rock and then leave. Was there something there? Because I don't remember what was on Old Man. Was there something there that let you away from South Shore?
Old Man, I think, just had. Old Man had pocket change.
Okay, so then. Okay. So you went to Eastern without the bow? Is that what happened?
No, we have the bow was in Sanctuary.
The bow is it? Oh, yeah, that's right. Okay, yeah, I'm sorry. I just couldn't remember.
Yeah. So, yeah, we were like, Eastern could be a thing. So we did that without. We went to Eastern without the second glove, is the only thing we had at that point. In fact, we did pod without the second glove.
I think we did pod pretty early, too. It was it was fine. Like there's you had everything that the game wanted and everything that you would need probably.
Pod was pretty nice too.
Right.
The second sword there, the flippers, good times. Or I think yeah. Which sword is not yet?
I'm sorry, Dr. Bob.
I got
No.
the one. The last one I got was on Pyramid. I don't know where the fourth sword was.
Because I know
Dr.
you get.
Bob's cutting out.
Yeah.
I actually do not remember where the last sword was at all.
From watching when I noticed it was on your stream, I noticed you had it in Dark Village of Outcasts, so I assumed it was around that area, but I didn't check or see exactly when you got it.
Did you do like Smith Chain and stuff? Because we completely skipped that.
I did do Smith Chain, but I don't think I got a sword from any of it.
Oh, in the chat, Dr. Bob is saying hobo.
A hobo.
Yeah, Hobo had the left.
Hobo.
So we did the flippers check. We did the other flippers check separate because I feel like it's really slow to swim to Hobo if you don't have to. And my plan is to route mirroring to Hobo from the Dark World in at some point, since that was an option. It had become an option for us by the time we had flipper. Or no, sorry. By the time we were doing the flippers checks, it was an option to mirror to Hobo from Dark World. So I was thinking we would get that sometime around if we decided to do Pyramid Fairy.
Hopefully, I'm back. Connected.
Yeah, you're coming in fine, Dr. Bob.
I hate my internet today for some reason.
We just made jokes about his bot from his channel being in.
Yeah, it's a mess. Anyway.
Servers were hiding somewhere in Ganon's tower.
Yeah. I mean, did you guys go right after the key or not?
No.
Okay, so it could have been right side, it could have been past DM's room.
Yeah.
It was not upstairs. We checked all of
Yeah, just.
Yeah, probably somewhere like Rando room or worst comes to worst, it's
GT big chest.
that or worst case scenario, tile room.
Love tile room.
I mean, at least you have the cape for that.
Yes.
Actually, we did not literally last location the mirror. I just remember this. We didn't do Land Molas. That is the one thing.
Right.
We didn't do Hera at the first opportunity. Or Spiral Cave.
Yeah. Oh, we skipped a lot.
We did both of them.
Even the basement.
So, like, if you go, you went there before Mirror because you last location to Mirror. So, if you go to Hera the long way, then you kind of have to do the basement because it's so isolated. Unless you have like a really good reason to skip it, like I don't know, actual ways the seed played out that like make you really think you're behind. I guess it would make sense, but that also depends on what's left. Because if it's like one of the only things left, then then the chances of that being the item is a lot higher.
Right.
So it's like something you have to really play by ear.
Well, I hope everybody had a good time watching this, and I'm going to go ahead and bow out here. But congratulations to Polar Bear Bunny, and good luck.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Have
GG.
a good.
Thanks, Dr. Bob, for being in.
Take care, Dr. Bob. Well, once again, if you'd like our runners here, please do give them a follow on their channels as well. We do have to also give a big shout out to our tracker, Spam Ibushi, who is doing all the hard work behind the scenes, keeping track of the items as well. Please give him a follow. Myself and CJ, give us a follow too as well. So is there, CJ, anything you want to add?
No, that was a very entertaining run. Thanks you guys for letting it be restreamed. I had a lot of fun watching it, and that's about all I got.
And good luck in the next round, Laoria and Polar Bear.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much. And shout outs to both of you guys as well for calming this.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
And also to your mentors as well. So can't forget about them.
Yeah, thanks, Bob.
You're welcome.
And with that, I think that's gonna bring the sea to our race tonight to an end. We got more coming up tomorrow of round 1 of the Go Mode Randomizer Ambrosia Mentor race for 2020. So I hope you check that out tomorrow. So until then, I'm Yoko. And I couldn't have, CJ, I couldn't have done it without you, without your help co-commentating on this. So thank you once again for joining me on this.
Not a problem. I had a blast.
Yeah. So until then, we'll see you next time for more of the Ambrosia Mentor race here on Go Mode. Till then, have a great night, everyone. Take care.